Welcome everyone to a new video. Today we'll be going over the new world, Basic Lumber Crafts and Profit by Yakerofficial. Welcome everybody. Today we'll be going over the basic crafts that you can do from your main inventory in the game The New World. To begin the tutorial, we must first know the main loading screen. After you've loaded into the new world, you'll get the choice between two primary teams, and there is a third, but that is unlockable through joining the main group. However, you are given the choice of either colonist or native. Natives are typically regarded as a little bit less than colonists and a much harder path to take when starting the game. As well, it's much harder to make money, so I would recommend starting off by being a colonist. Colonist description is you are a colonist. Earn pounds by woodcutting, hunting, mining, fishing, and more. You are self-made and are driven towards success. Now, as we move to the native, you're a native. You live off the land. You build your own weapons. You craft your own clothes and survive your own way. Natives are highly unrecommended for the reason that it's quite difficult to do this. Now, as we load in as a colonist, misclick there for a second, but we are good to go. It says please wait as a loading screen. That may take up to 20 seconds, but the servers are typically running really well, so I wouldn't think that would happen. Alright, so beginning. To go over the basic crafts of your inventory, the basic crafts of your inventory that are under 15 logs are the crossbow, the ground torch, the barricade, the blockade, the campfire, the engineering station, the trading post, the tree log, and yeah, that's that. So throughout this video, we'll be going over everything that you could possibly do to better yourself as a position in profit from beginning the game. Now when you are starting the new world, you will not start with a pickaxe or most supplies that you want to start with in this game. Now, in time, you can either join a faction, which I will go over in a later video, or you can begin by making a little bit of money. Now, one of the first things you're going to want to do is actually getting lumber. So right now, we're going to go get a couple of trees, we're going to see what we can craft, and I'll be going over a lot of the prices throughout the video, so if you'd like to tune in, you're more than welcome to. So one of the most important things to understand about the game is the axe itself. Now later on in this video you'll see me have the robust axe, a very efficient axe that hits a tree in 8 total hits. Now at this point I'm just using a regular axe which takes 13 to chop down a tree, which is approximately around 11 seconds, but the robust axe gets that tree in only about 5 to 6, meaning that your production can go slightly faster, but it does take 165 Robux to get that, which I would unrecommend for that reason. But for woodcutting at the beginning of the game, if you use the regular axe, you're still going to be able to make a ton of money. So starting up with the prices, we're going to begin at the top of the list as we did before. We are going to begin with the crossbow, which of course is 75 pounds. It is a normal weapon, which you can actually use an arrow in, so it doubles as a factor for both hunting and for selling, and is pretty efficient in both. Next up, we move to the ground torch. You do not want to sell this, however, it can light your path very easily in the bay if you're on a very small server at night, or there's a blizzard going on in the game, which I'll describe later on in a different video. This only sells for a total of 5 pounds, however it's not actually worth creating for the reason that it's worth less. Then we move to something similar, the torch, which only sells for a total of 2 pounds, meaning it's not even worth barely creating at all. However, it does supply warmth, which does make you move slightly faster the more warmth you have and the more in the bar that you have there. Unless you have very, very expensive warm clothing, it is recommended that you use a torch at the beginning of the game to warm yourself up around a campfire, which is readily supplied throughout the game and cannot be broken. Moving forwards, we have something similar to something I'll mention next, but it is the wooden barricade, which only sells for 9 pounds, however, can be very useful in combat because if they try to hit you below the waist, then it's not actually possible with either an arrow or a gunshot because it blocks it off by hitbox, meaning that it is easily avoidable actually to get hit and to fire back at another person because it takes out 50% of your own hitbox. Another useful easy craft through the engineering station for yourself is to use the wooden blockade, which actually sells for a decent price of 55 pounds. Now it's not worth as much as making a crossbow, however, it is worth the logs if you do have as much as 4. and you don't have 5 or can't get any more at the time to sell for the last bit of what you have, because it's only a couple less pounds. It's only a ratio of roughly 5% less pounds for making one of them. Moving forwards, the campfire, a active source of warming yourself up or getting heat in the game, which is basically called warmth. It makes you move faster in the game, and you want to have a decent bar of it at all times. You can either buy clothing for equivalent of like 20,000 pounds in the game that makes up for that, and it's very rare. You have to buy it off of players, or you can basically make this campfire, which is much easier, for 5 logs and just warm yourself up on occasion. It does only sell for 5 pounds, however it's usually worth creating this. And finally we have the engineering station, which is a very useful tool. You're able to craft metal defenses and also furnaces with this, which I'll go over in the advanced lumber video, which will be next on top of this mini-series. And of course we will have a lot more details about that there. However, the engineering station, once again, can be used as a defense. It is mostly a crafting station and can be sold in stores for 2 pounds, which is, again, the same as a torch. Not recommended, creation for sale. And again, I'm going to be leaving out the trading post, which I mentioned early on in the video, as a craft, because it does take 12 logs and only sells for 57 pounds, only ratioing out at 4 pounds per log. So it's not worth it, again, to be creating. However, you can player sell items safely from it, and other players cannot destroy it while you are doing that. And I'll be going over that once again in a different video. For those of you that are starting in the lumber industry, of course, as the first thing in the game and are brand new to the game, I do recommend understanding one last thing. A normal tree can have up to 3 logs in the tree. However, the drop percentages from 1 to 3 are not always the same. Typically, within the bay, you're most likely going to get 1 log. However, outside of the bay, you have a slightly better chance of getting something a little bit more. So inside the bay, I did a little bit of the ratio based off of 500 logs that I had gotten after this video. One of which would be the 1, which would be 28.5%, 2 logs would be 37.5%, and the 3 would be 35% itself, adding up to 100% of course, and meaning that you are most likely to get a 3, but within the bay, your 1 usually goes up to around 38-39% chance, so you're typically going to want to go outside the bay towards the native camps to get a decent amount more. I live stream every day on Twitch at Yakerofficial. You're more than welcome to follow. I'd appreciate it a ton, and of course, be sure to like and subscribe the video down below. I'd appreciate it a ton, and it helps us get into the algorithm and helps out this game. So thank you guys very, very much for being here, and I'll see you guys next time.